We're speaking with Rugby Development Officer Chris Brannigan about Bevan Rodd's debut performance for Sale Sharks in the Premiership Rugby Cup at the weekend. First off, Chris, when you either heard about or saw what Bevan did in the match, what did you think? What was your initial reaction?
Initial reaction was just I was really, really pleased for Bevan. Really proud of him. I know how hard he's been working to get this to this stage. So yeah, just pleased that he can go out and showcase everyone what he can do. It was only in a little bit of a short cameo, but I think we got to see quite a bit.
I first saw it on Twitter on Saturday afternoon when Sale Sharks Twitter feed was raving about his offload for to set up that try for Aka van der Merwe. It was really nice to see that he had this sort of he showed both power and finesse within that passage of play.
Yeah, and that's what he can do. Bevan's a big boy, and he can do things that big boys need to do. Get the ball and carry hard and put people on the bottoms, but he can also give that little fancy offload, or he can. He's often quite known for his kicking. We didn't see it on Saturday, but yeah, he's pretty nifty with the ball in his hands. So yeah, he's got a real opportunity in the game where he isn't just one-dimensional. He's sort of like, say, power and finesse in one.
He's a modern prop in a lot of ways then, isn't he? That's certainly what a lot of coaches demand of their front rowers these days.
Absolutely is, yeah. He's they want someone who can do both things really, and Bevan's your modern day prop. You take it back to sort of when I was Bevan's age, and it was your props were crash bang wallop, and you knew what you were getting. They demand a lot more from the props these days.
Now we're seeing him, make this debut with Sale Sharks at the weekend, and that's great. But I imagine there's been so much work for him already to get to this point. Can you give us a bit of an insight about what he's been doing and how he's been progressing?
Yeah, sure, Ed. It's a really good point, because I guess we just see the Twitter clip or the YouTube highlights or whatever it is, the Instagram post. But there's countless hours go into what he's done and to get to where he's gotten. You got to remember he's a prop, so he was only 19 in August. That's young for a prop to be out there doing it. So, but he's been putting in the hours for years and years already. He was back here over the summer in a break before they started pre-season at Sale. Met up with him a number of times, and he was down at the athletics track. He's with Isle of Man Sport, so he was down there working on the track with Isle of Man Sport stuff, doing basically just getting fit in his own time. They're the hours. Plenty of other teammates would have been sat at home waiting for pre-season. Bevan was putting in the work, and he has been doing for a number of years. So he's whether through school, whether it be through England pathway, or whether it be through the Sale Sharks Academy.
Because I believe he's spent time, do you call it out on loan in rugby as well? Was he playing for Fylde for a bit as well? So he's had this sort of progression, and it seems like at every stage he's got that bit better and done that bit more and impressed people. Absolutely,
yeah. So he was dual registered with Fylde last season. He started the season, he was overcoming a couple of injuries. He did well, he got over those, and I think the debut was just before Christmas last year for Fylde. Went really well, a club I'm familiar with, and the feedback from the guys there was really positive. And that was great for an 18-year-old lad to go and play sort of National 2 rugby. Was great experience, and yeah, great that he could bring that experience into the Sharks first team this year.
He seems to be impressing people in the Sharks. The director of rugby, Steve Diamond, afterwards said that Bevan is humble and hardworking, and there is an opportunity for him. I think basically saying that, if he fulfills his potential, he can go very, very far. Do you agree with that?
Completely agree. Yeah, Dimes is probably on the money there, and they're two words I'd personally use for Bevan too: humble and hardworking. Yeah, he keeps his head down. He's pretty. He's not one to shout his own mouth about how he's doing, as some players tend to do with their sort of social media forums these days. He's not one of those. He just wants to work hard. He just wants to get better. And he's very hard working. Like I say, he was back here. Teammates probably out on holidays. He was back here sprinting around the NSC. So yeah, he's humble, hard working, and hopefully he's definitely got a future in the game.
Good that he can still get that support when he comes back here as well, I imagine.
Fantastic, yeah, and that's thanks to Isle of Man Sport for supporting him, and it's thanks to Bevan for making the time. He could probably just sit in Manchester and wait the week for pre-season, but he wants to come back. He wants to get involved. The same evening that he was running around the NSC track, he comes down to touch rugby and help the Ramsey under-14s out because they were short of a player. So he is a humble, good bloke.
Sounds like he loves the game. What does this sort of thing, and obviously Phil Kringle doing really well with London Scottish over the last few seasons, what does that mean for Manx rugby? I imagine that when young lads over here see that they can make it if they do the right things, it must be a real inspiration for them.
Yeah. I'll let it be known you don't have to be a prop like Bevan and Phil both are. You can do it at wing or something, but very inspirational. Phil's obviously been lighting the way, and great to see him get a start at the weekend as well. So hopefully our lads look up to the likes of Phil and Bevan and realise that actually I can do it. That is possible. Something that probably wasn't actually quite realised a number of years ago. I think our boys are starting to realise. We've got 5 boys at Sale Sharks Academy now who are probably all starting to realise that, hold on a minute here, I've got chances if I work hard and I continue to do well and keep my mind on my studies, then I can maybe go places too. So yeah, very inspirational.